You can't even imagine what American roads are capable of. Have you heard how drivers on US roads compete not just in speed, but in bravery? It seems that Bolivia, with its death road, is ahead of the rest of the world. But not so fast. It turns out, the states can also brag about their road extremes. The World Health Organization has long ranked America among the most dangerous countries for drivers. Today you will learn about such routes, where a relaxing trip turns into a real adventure. Sometimes, one sharp turn or a crossroad hidden behind a hill can change everything in the blink of an eye. Hold on tight. Up next is a story about roads that make your heart race. The Dragon's Tail is now known far beyond the borders of America. Until 1996, it was just Route 126. And nobody really knew it existed. The length of this route is just 11 miles, but it features a whopping 318 of which are incredibly tricky turns and intersections. The road runs through two states, Tennessee and North Carolina, mostly through dense forests. Once upon a time, there was a hunting path of the Cherokee tribe right here, where they would return home with their catch. Later, Europeans used this route to drive cattle to city markets. In the mid-20th century, the US government decided to pave this trail, turning it into a full-fledged road numbered TN26. However, for a long time, it was hardly used. Until the 90s, when bikers and drivers from all over the world started to flock here. Bikers and drivers from all corners of the globe. It's thanks to them that the road got its nickname. The Dragon. The speed limit of 30 miles per hour doesn't scare off the brave souls. Just like the presence of police patrols, federal authorities have banned the construction of any structures along the highway, leaving only one motel, so that nothing would distract drivers from the tricky maneuvers. Some sections of the road have their own names, like the Guardrail Rock and the Gravity Pit. These areas are fenced off with metal barriers, showing the marks of numerous accidents. Highway 550, stretching 25 miles, is located in the southwest of Colorado and connects the historic towns of Ouray and Silverton, passing through a mountain pass. Mountain, in the San Juan Mountains at an elevation of 11,000 feet above sea level. The most dangerous part of this road is the complete lack of guardrails, which is due to the need for snow and avalanche debris removal. Most of the highway doesn't have a shoulder, so even the slightest deviation from the route could mean a fall off the mountain slope. This stretch of Highway 550 has earned the unofficial nickname, $1 Million Highway. There are several theories about the origin of this name, including the cost of building the road, the expenses for laying the pavement, as well as the amount of gold and silver extracted during the construction of the route in 1926. This dirt road stretches 414 miles and opened in 1974. It connects the city of Fairbanks with the northern slope of Alaska and serves as an important route for transporting oil and gas. Officially called the James Dalton Highway, it's also known as the Hall Road. The route winds through the Brooks Range, where in 1971, a record low temperature was recorded in the history of the United States, -80 degrees Fahrenheit. In 1994, the road was opened to tourists, causing concern among experienced truck drivers. Used to the challenges of this narrow and dangerous road. To ensure safety, helicopters patrol the road twice a day, ready to assist in case of an accident or breakdown. The only gas station along the entire route is located in the town of Coldfoot, about halfway to Dead Horse. Located in the north of the highway, the State Tourism Agency warns that rental companies usually prohibit their clients from using rented cars on such roads. Despite that, every year there are about 10 accidents here, most of which involve vehicles overturning. the mortality rate remains low, less than 1 case a year. I describe these and other dangerous roads in my Telegram channel Unusual America, where I share the most incredible stories from life in the US. And I also share important news, the most incredible stories from life in the U.S. And I share important news. Come on in, read, and subscribe. California drivers borrowed the term Highway of Death from the infamous North Ugas Road in Bolivia, applying it to Highway 138, which stretches from the Interstate A15 to the city of Palmdale. In 2000, the Los Angeles Times reported that over the previous 5 years on this road, known also as the Bloody Alley and the California Death Road, there were 50 fatalities and 875 injuries. On average, this steep and winding two-lane stretch saw more than 10 deaths a year. Also known as the Bloody Alley and the California Death Road, there were 50 fatalities and 875 injuries. On average, this steep and winding two-lane stretch saw more than 10 deaths a year. Road improvement efforts began in 2006. On average, this steep and winding two-lane stretch saw more than 10 deaths a year. Road improvement efforts began in 2006. But the project was delayed. Fatalities decreased due to better road visibility, as well as acts of vandalism against construction equipment. The project faced numerous delays. However, after the work was completed, the number of fatalities decreased thanks to the widening and improved visibility on the road. Highway 431 stretches 99 miles from Phoenix City to Dothan in Alabama. It is considered one of the most dangerous routes in the country. From 1999 to 2010, there were 20 fatalities on this stretch of road. And no, the road is marked with white crosses set up by the families and friends of the victims. Before the reconstruction, that widened the road to 4 lanes was completed in 2010. Officials explained the high mortality rate on Highway 430 due to heavy traffic congestion and limited visibility on most of the 2-lane sections. Now, a significant portion of the highway consists of 4 lanes. With heavy traffic congestion and limited visibility on most of the 2-lane sections. Now, a significant portion of the highway consists of 4 lanes. Except for the sections that go through small towns. As the longest highway running across the country from north to south, Highway 1 presents a complex challenge when it comes to pinpointing a specific section. That makes it particularly dangerous. The highway stretches 545 miles and passes through 13 counties, claiming over 1,000 lives every 10 years. Although fatal incidents occur along the entire length of the road, their numbers noticeably increase in the summer, when traffic intensity significantly increases. Despite the beauty of Highway 17 that unfolds before the eyes of travelers heading from Virginia to Florida, it's important to remember that this road holds quite a few dangers, especially in South Carolina. There are quite a few dangers, especially in South Carolina. The stunning views are accompanied by narrow strips of road, with unexpected twists, sharp turns, and wild animals like deer that can suddenly dart onto the road. With a rate of 1 fatal accident for every 2 miles, no driver can feel completely safe. When traveling on any roads, following traffic rules is absolutely essential. But if you get into a car accident in America and don't know what to do next, where to turn for help? Where can you find a competent lawyer? How can you get compensation if you don't have insurance? The company Accident America helped secure $21 million in compensation for its clients. Here, you'll definitely get answers to all your questions. The link is in the description. The danger on Highway 199 doesn't decrease. When travelers heading north cross the border into Oregon, this road, known as the Redwood Highway, begins in Crescent City, California, and ends in Grand Spa, Oregon. Over these 80 miles, there's 1 fatal incident reported every 2 miles. The narrow and winding road, surrounded by stunning landscapes, often leads to accidents as drivers get distracted by the views or lose their bearings on the turns. Often causes accidents because drivers are distracted by the views or lose orientation on turns. Most tragedies are linked to cars going off the road and crashing into trees. Highway 83. In the U.S., it stretches significantly, starting from the Canadian border and ending at the Mexican border. It passes through the states of North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. However, this route becomes most dangerous in the southern part of Texas. Traveling through the states of North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. However, this route becomes most dangerous in the southern part of Texas. Here, a fatality is recorded every other week, and the total number of accidents exceeds that of other regions. Wolf Creek Pass, located in the San Juan Mountains, is known for its steep climbs, sharp turns, and narrow switchbacks. When you add in the harsh weather conditions, Highway 160 becomes one of the most dangerous roads in the country. It's probably worth considering the recommendation from the State Department of Transportation. Beware of the wolf. Highway I-95 has once again been included in the list of dangerous roads, particularly in the Little River area of Miami, where Florida's death toll has risen, mainly due to a 4-mile stretch of express lane. Since the express lane is separated by movable cones, some drivers try to use it at the wrong times to bypass traffic on the main lane, which sometimes leads to accidents and an increase in injuries and fatalities. To bypass traffic on the main lane, which sometimes leads to accidents and an increase in injuries and fatalities. I-95 is one of the busiest highways in the state, and while it has its dangerous stretches, none of them have been deemed the most dangerous in the Sunshine State. Highway 1 in the Berkshire area narrows down to almost a single lane in every direction. Even in perfect California weather, this stretch of road can be a threat. The reason is that good weather opens up breathtaking views of the coastline. That can distract the driver. Add to that bad weather, and the situation is worsened by mud and potential landslides. In such natural terrain, even a minor accident can quickly turn into a tragedy due to the challenging landscape. For 145 miles in Arizona, from Flagstaff to Phoenix, Highway paves 17 climbs and descends nearly a mile in elevation, going up and down from north to south. Such changes in the terrain gave drivers the chance to pull off the road and take in the views of the mountains and deserts. However, the beauty attracts a lot of travelers, which leads to an increase in the number of accidents, and there's roughly one fatal accident for every kilometer of road. Berthoud Highway, which is a section of Highway 212, 67 miles long, often referred to as one of the most beautiful routes in the country. Spanning over 10,000 feet between Wyoming and Montana, including the northeast entrance to Yellowstone National Park, it lives up to its height. However, at that altitude, you need to be ready for a lot of twists, steep descents, and unpredictable weather conditions. Opened to vehicle traffic in 1937. This route, with its sharp turns and descents, can make drivers feel dizzy the whole way. An unusual short section of the I-26 highway is considered one of the most dangerous roads in South Carolina. According to federal and state data, from 2000 to 2010 on I-26, there were 286 accidents in South Carolina, resulting in 325 fatalities. There were 286 accidents in South Carolina. As a result, 325 people lost their lives. It's also noted that there are few guardrails on this stretch of road, and the slopes of the ditches on the sides are very steep. Over 10% of accidents on Highway Pair 95 occur near Norwalk. Accidents are more likely here. In Connecticut, it is 99 miles long, including an 8-mile stretch near the town of Norwalk. This is where the likelihood of getting into an accident increases significantly. There are 735 accidents recorded here annually, compared to less than 600 in similarly sized areas in other cities such as New Haven, Stamford, Greenwich, and Milford. The high accident rate is due to frequent traffic jams in the city, as well as tricky turns and hilly terrain. Public organizations operating near Toledo, Ohio, have been pushing for the expansion and improvement of the highway for over 20 years. 24, which runs 77 miles west of Toledo to Fort Wayne, Indiana. About halfway to Fort Wayne is the city of Napoleon, where the highway expansion was completed in 2012. The new 23-mile stretch replaced the old dangerous two-lane road, which regularly saw major accidents, especially involving large trucks. The new 23-mile stretch replaced the old dangerous two-lane road. This road was notorious for major accidents, especially involving large trucks. This road has gained a notorious reputation for horrific head-on collisions between trucks with trailers that were transporting goods between factories in Ohio and Indiana. For example, in the Defiance area of Ohio, there was something called the Death Turn. And that stretch of Highway 24 in the U.S. has gained a grim reputation as the Death Road. Ohio officials once proposed temporarily eliminating tolls on a nearby highway, Ohio Turnpike, to encourage more freight to use this wider route. According to data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, over 8 million people travel annually between southern Nevada and southern California. On this 180-mile stretch, there have been more fatalities recorded than anywhere else in the state, and half of those who died weren't wearing seatbelts. There are several other factors contributing to the high mortality rate on R15. More than anywhere else in the state, and half of those who died weren't wearing seatbelts. There are several other factors contributing to the high mortality rate on R15. Among them are driving under the influence and distracted driving. In the 5 years leading up to 2005, 173 people lost their lives on this stretch of road. Although improvements have been made since then, including expanding the lanes, America is built for road travel. The total length of roads in the United States is 2.7 million miles. That's enough to circle the globe almost 110 times. With that many routes, it's inevitable that there are some you definitely shouldn't drive on.